A very good evening. Welcome to Premier League Live here on LFS this Monday evening as we conclude the opening weekend of the new Premier League season here on LFS. 9 games down, 1 to go, and it is 2 new managers in a derby that doesn't need any introduction. It is a West London derby of the fiercest as Fulham take on Chelsea at Craven Cottage. 2 former Real Madrid bosses in Alvaro Arbeloa of Fulham now and Xabi Alonso now of Chelsea face off against one another where they were in the same job just 12 months ago. Well, this is the opening weekend of the Premier League so far. These are the 9 results that we have witnessed. Just 1 draw, 7 home wins out of the 9 games that we've watched, so that would benefit Fulham this evening if that trend continues. But before we really get into the full depth of this game, and of course the stats surrounding it and both managers coming into it and summer signings and all of those details, let's just get into my Premier League predictions. So I said I would Monday night Premier League predictions. So champions, top 8, the relegated teams, a surprise package, the biggest disappointment of the season, my top scorer, and who I think will be player of the season. We're going to start off, we're just going to go through them all basically. Let's have a look at them. So starting pretty simply with the champions, Arsenal. I think they're the strongest team in the league. I think there is no question that they are the strongest team in the league. I think they are a team that have, an abundance of quality. In all areas, they've players and backups galore for every single position. I just think Arsenal are too strong, and really, at the end of it, I don't think there's anybody in the league that is either settled enough or good enough to compete for Arsenal with the league title. In terms of 2nd to 4th, I have Manchester City in 2nd, Liverpool in 3rd, and Man United in 4th. But of course, opening weekend, people will be questioning, are Man City good enough to be there? Are Liverpool really good enough? Are Man United good enough? All 3 teams had varying results of varying different qualities. City got their win and comeback win over Bournemouth. Liverpool drew, late goal from Dominic Szoboszlai to score 2-2. And then Man United beaten by a newly promoted team. So you question and go, where did those predictions come from? I just think they've got the quality to get them to those ranges. I think City do have, I mean, they've Erling Haaland. He will catapult you to major heights. No matter what team you have around him, he will score 20 to 30 goals no matter what. I think Liverpool, I think it's more of a system thing. I think they'll become more than the sum of their parts in a way. I think it will be, as a team structure, they need to get settled on that. It wasn't good at times yesterday, and there's still, of course, signings to bring in. And I think if they bring in those signings, I think they can push and be a Champions League team. I don't think they'll be anywhere near a title race this year. And I don't think Man United will be either. I think Michael Carrick needs to settle on what he needs from his team. That's a whole midfield rebuild. But I think they're good enough and have a good enough quality to be there. In terms of 5th to 8th, another look at it quickly. I have Chelsea, Spurs, Brentford and Newcastle as the other teams competing for Europe. Now, of course, 5th we've seen previously can be a Champions League position. I think Chelsea are good enough to be there. I think Xabi Alonso will do a very good job. I think they've got some really good players. That front three tonight, which we'll get into, Cole Palmer, João Pedro, and of course Morgan Rodgers, who come in for Aston Villa for big money. I think that's a really quality front line. I think they've got strength in defence and a really strong midfield. I think they're a good team, Chelsea, and might push even higher than 5th. Spurs, I think they've brought in some quality players and they're still looking for more. I think they'll be good enough to push for Europe. Brentford are a team that I think have recruited really well over the summer. Brought in some really good strengthening players to build upon what they created last season, getting so close to Europe, of course. I think they will get there this season. And I think Newcastle, surprisingly, people will say, oh, well, Newcastle, you'd be worried about them. And I didn't make these predictions before the games yesterday. I made these predictions before the weekend, I can promise you. I just have a feeling about Newcastle. Matthias Jaisler, it's a whole new rebuild. It's just completely different for Newcastle this season. I think they might surprise some people. In terms of relegation, I have Crystal Palace being relegated along with Hull and Ipswich. I just think Hull and Ipswich just don't have the squads and the quality. I think Hull have jumped too far too quickly, considering they were almost relegated from the Championship 2 seasons ago. They had a great season last season. I think they just kind of rode that wave, and I think it might come crashing down at some point. I think Ipswich's squad are decent, but are they good enough to stay in the Premier League? I don't really think so. And I think Crystal Palace have had a bizarre summer where they've sold players, and I think they might still sell one or two. They've sold key players. I think Maxence Lacroix was key to that defence, along with Mark Guehi, are both now gone out of the club. They've made some swap deals. I just don't think there's enough going on there. But Teta wants out, Sarr wants out. It's very toxic at Palace. I don't think that works out well this season. I have, in turn, one of the newly promoted teams staying up in Coventry. I think there will be a surprise. I think that result against Arsenal is not reflective of the quality of the squad or the manager or the coach. I don't think that's enough. I think Coventry would stay in the Premier League, and I think they will surprise one or two people, and some surprising results this season. I think they have a really good squad, some really good players, and I think they will be good enough to stay in the Premier League. Now, I'm not doubting they'll be in a relegation battle. I just think they'll have enough to stay up. Palace is my biggest disappointment. That's pretty obvious to say. In terms of top scorer, Erling Haaland. I have Erling Haaland being the top scorer in the Premier League for this season, because he's Erling Haaland, and you would be silly to bet against him. And player of the season, it was a difficult one because I didn't want to go Erling Haaland because I don't think City will win the league. I didn't want to go anyone else in striker form because they'll not win the Golden Boot, so that's not going to get them there. I thought midfield, and I thought, well, who's a good midfielder from the champions? And I think Bruno Guimaraes is a great signing for Arsenal. We haven't seen him yet, and whether he'll be able to get into the squad fully, I think he will, along with Declan Rice and then Odegaard in that trio in midfield. I think they'll be electric this season, and I think Bruno Guimaraes will really come into his own, being the captain of Arsenal now, or Newcastle, sorry, and then moving on to Arsenal, coming alongside Declan Rice. I think that will be a massive, massive achievement, and I think he'll do fantastically well. So I think he will go down as my player of the season. So there's my predictions in full for this one, and that had a lot to get through in that time for the moment, and we are just 5 minutes away from kickoff here at Craven Cottage, of course, for this West London derby between Fulham and Chelsea to get the season underway. Alvaro Arbeloa and Xabi Alonso taking charge of their first games in the Premier League as the bosses of Fulham and Chelsea, and we'll see how they fare this evening for this one. Of course, it's been a topsy-turvy weekend for opening weekend results for new managers. 2 winners, 2 draws, and 3 have lost on the opening weekend of the season in the new tenures at Premier League football clubs. We'll see how Alvaro Arbeloa and Xabi Alonso do this evening in their debuts with their respective clubs. We'll get into further detail about that at half-time, but let's have a look at the 2 teams for this one, starting with Fulham. Bernd Leno starts in goal. Continuity there. Timothy Castagna continues at right back for this season. Calvin Bassey is joined alongside Jorge Cuenca after the departure of Issa Diop. So a centre-back partnership there. And Robinson at left back. In midfield, Sander Berger is alongside Alex Iwobi, we feel, with Josh King in the 10. New signing from Real Madrid, Cesar Palacios starts on the left-hand side, Oscar Bob on the far right-hand side, and Gonzalo Garcia, another Real Madrid signing, starts up front. On the bench, Lecomte, Tete, Sessegnon, Defougero, Smith Rowe, Reid, Kevin, Charles, and Muniz. For Chelsea, well, no Enzo Maresca. Enzo Fernandez. He's on the bench. Robert Sanchez continues in goal. A back 3/back 5. Gusto and Hato, the wing backs, with Achiempong new signing Lacroix from Crystal Palace. He starts along with Levi Colwell at centre back. Reece James, the captain, is in midfield along with Romeo Lavia, with a front 3. Look at this: Cole Palmer, Morgan Rogers, and Joao Pedro. On the bench for Chelsea, Penders, Chavaria, Barco, Enzo Fernandez, Estevao, Gittins, Neto, Quenda, and Danny Welbeck. So, it is a West London derby to conclude the opening weekend of the new season. 2 former Real Madrid bosses, but something tells me this is not going to be very continental. Let's have a look, and we cannot wait to see this one in action. It's Fulham against Chelsea. It's always an exciting one. Kick off at Craven Cottage. It's on the way next. A very good evening. Thank you very much for joining us for this one this evening on the final game of the weekend here on Premier League Live, as we bring you our 4th live commentary of the opening weekend to conclude it. We've already seen some drama across the weekend. Only 1 draw in the 9 Premier League games we've seen. That came yesterday at St James's Park, and that was a last-minute equaliser to see our first draw of the season. And 8 other winners across the weekend sees a fascinating opening weekend in the Premier League, as it always is. Certainly, those pre-season predictions go completely out the window in the opening games, and it goes topsy-turvy. You never know what way it's going to turn out, but that's what makes it so exciting. Well, we are almost ready to go here. Of course, we will well, of course, as we have across the weekends, remember the great Kevin Keegan here at Craven Cottage, of course, was the Fulham boss, getting them to the Premier League, winning the 2nd Division title back in the 1990s. Did a fantastic job here. And another club, another fan base that has been touched by the genius of Kevin Keegan, who we lost, of course, during the summer. And of course, that tribute just to Kevin Keegan yesterday at St James's Park almost brought me to tears at how emotional you could feel. The atmosphere, it transcended through the screen of how kind of the emotions were so high at St James's Park yesterday. It was beautiful, beautiful scenes for such a touching moment for both sets of fan bases, and that display up on the stand was beautifully provided, and the whole footballing world in shock at the loss of Kevin Keegan. And another club touched by his footballing genius, as Fulham were, and he will be very much remembered and never forgotten. As the moment's applause comes to an end, we're ready to conclude the Premier League weekends. The first one of the season about to conclude. It is Fulham-Chelsea. No better way to end the opening weekends. And a West London derby. Two new managers. What is the expectation for them? We will find out. We cannot wait to bring it to you. Oh, a little bit slow there. They were getting off, but here we go. Game 10 of the opening weekends. And we are set for an exciting one, I'm sure. They always give us an exciting game, the West London derby. When it comes around, there's always drama. There's always that fierceness between the two fan bases. It's I believe, one of the closest derbies in the country. I think maybe Sheffield's closer. Here's João Pedro right in behind Rick from the off, and he's given Chelsea the lead. What a start! 35 seconds for João Pedro, and Chelsea are in front. Well, that was a beautiful moment. What a start for Chelsea. One of the earliest goals in Premier League history, and the earliest goal of the Premier League season. What a start for Chelsea. See it here, it's just one at the back line, headed down, and it's Palmer, first time ball round the corner. João Pedro breaks off his defender. Bernd Leno comes far out of his goal, and João Pedro, the finish is class. Look at that directness though. Beautiful header, brought down by Palmer, and then João Pedro, beautiful finish. Across goal. That is gorgeous from Chelsea. Fulham. That is the last thing you need right from the off, is to concede within 30 seconds. Well, that is one hell of a start to the Xabi Alonso era. Fulham 0, Chelsea 1 in a blink of an eye. Told you it'd be exciting. Didn't take long to prove it. The instant setback. We'll need the full confirmation, but we will have to take into consideration what the official timing is, but I think it's the quickest of the season so far. I mean, we've not many to go by, but I believe it will be. Of course, the quickest ever was 7 seconds. Shane Long, of course, that very famous goal, but it'll not be anywhere near the top of them, but it will be up there, certainly. 30-odd seconds. I remember Brentford went on a run last season. I think it was the start of last season when they were scoring goals in the first minute. I think it was 4 or 5 games in a row they'd scored in the first minute last season. Chelsea already off the mark. Nice work from Reece James. Lovely little flick by Palmer. Good take in by Rodgers. Rodgers! Strike was deflected. That will be a corner. Well, I said this front three would be so dangerous, and we've already seen it. Lovely little flick by Cole Palmer. See it here. Good header by Reece James. Taken in by Palmer. Lovely little scorpion flick around the corner. Brought down by Morgan Rodgers. Arriving into the edge of the box. And as he takes the shot, it's deflected behind for the corner. But Chelsea have started like a house on fire here. They're not looking to step off at any time soon. Here is Rodgers pinging one. And the shot from the back post from Reece James is blocked. We'll pick it back up again, though, the Chelsea skipper, chased by Castagna. And he wins the throw-in for Chelsea down the right-hand side. Well, wow. Puts all the build-up and the kind of building to things out the window. Oh, a bit of danger there. Colwell's caught out there at the back. Oscar Bob straight over to the referee to claim that there's more than a yellow on that one. It is just a yellow, though, for Levi Colwell, who was well out of position and was caught out there by Oscar Bob. We'll see it here. Colwell just takes a poor touch, a really poor touch, and Oscar Bob instantly onto it. Yeah, it's nothing more than a yellow. He had men cover it behind him there, Colwell. It's a poor challenge. It is definitely a yellow card, but nothing more than that. Yellow card is fair. Both sides looking open all of a sudden. Fulham with a free kick here. Alexa Iwobi over it. Frantic start here at Craven Cottage. Iwobi delivers in. Didn't get past the first man there, and Joao Pedro, who was back defending. Back to Iwobi it comes. Now Josh King. A bright spark in the attacking midfield of Fulham. Lovely. Straight from the throw in there. Chelsea on the move. Joao Pedro down the left. Battling with Oscar Bob, and Bob sees it out for the throw, but that'll be a Chelsea throw. Yeah, they look desperate. Oh, apologies. Mind blown. I always known it as a West London derby. Fair enough. Castagna, good step to get it out of the way. Colwell wide to Jarell Hato. Lavia. Lacroix, Lavia. Down the left comes Hato again. Chelsea starting at, as I say, a frantic pace. Very high tempo game in the first 5-6 minutes there. Palmer takes it on the half turn. Little caught under his feet, but he does carry the ball forward down the right channel. Worked back from the wide area from Malagusto to Achiampong, and now to Palmer. Such sharp, quick, short passing. No waiting around for the Blues. Palmer in the pocket. Lays it back to James. Down the right comes Gusto. Has to turn back to his captain. Here's James with the switch. Jarell Hato in acres of space down the left. Steps infield and has to turn back to Levi Colwell. Here's James. I was also pleased because I have Joao Pedro on my fantasy team, so I mean, I expected him to score, just not in the first 30 seconds. I also have Morgan Rogers in my fantasy team as well. Lovely from Palmer. Now finds Rogers on the run. Just a little bit too much skid off the surface to find Morgan Rogers. Behind for a goal kick. He's knitting everything together so far though, Cole Palmer. Setting up the opener. Creating some really dangerous moments in the first couple of minutes here. Mindblown says everyone calls it a West London derby apart from the only team with a West London postcode. Fair enough. To be right, I wouldn't know, so I'm just taking off everybody else. More fool me. Here's Cole Palmer. Palmer into the box. Wanted to go himself there. Narrow angle that always benefited Bernd Leno, who did end up catching it, but he looks electric so far, Cole Palmer. Everywhere that Chelsea have the ball, he's within 5 yards of the ball. He is everywhere so far. King under pressure, back to Bassi. Swings it out to Cuenca on that far side. Such a split in the centre-backs there for Fulham. On the left, Robinson. Sander Berger was beaten to it there. Nicely done by Reece James. And that's Chiampong looping it over the top, looking to run as Joao Pedro, but a bit too much on that for the former Crystal Palace man. Maxence Lacroix makes the move, the Frenchman, from South London to South West London. Now, as I know, not a big distance, but £52 million, the fee that was paid by Chelsea 2 years after he signed for Crystal Palace for just £15 million. So that is one hell of a jump. Yeah, I mean, he was in that Palace team that won an FA Cup, so that would bring his price tag up quite a significant amount. I think that's kind of the player I think Chelsea have been needing at centre-back. That real killer, that real strong player, but he's not he doesn't get himself caught out in positions, in naive positions. We've seen that a little bit with Chelsea defensively over the years. Oh, poor there from Colwell. A little bit loose here from Chelsea. Josh King across. Gonzalo Garcia was the target. Just about cleared away. Oscar Bob now picks it up on the right. Fulham trying to pose a bit of threat. King wide. King with the cross. Blocked by Hato. Will be a corner. We'll talk more about Maxence Lacroix in a few moments, but decent response there from Fulham. Getting a little bit loose from Chelsea. I think it was that Chiampong. Or was it Hato? I'm not too sure who it was for Chelsea, but they played a ball back right into the mix. Lacroix had an awful ball to deal with, and it just caused chaos. Bob with the delivery from the corner. And into the hands comfortably of Robert Sanchez, the Chelsea keeper. Ooh, good step in there from Sana Berga. Couldn't keep it in play there. Actually, that was Cesar Palacios who was chasing that ball down. New names to learn. Cesar Palacios and Gonzalo Garcia will be very well known to both of these managers. Would have played under both at Real Madrid before making their summer moves to Fulham. Robinson, a bit of head tennis here. Lacroix brought down by Palmer, who gets rid of it quickly, and Joao Pedro's in behind again. Pedro carried a little wide. Runs into his man there in Calvin Bassey, who got in with good recovery pace to get it back, but then is upended. That's a strong challenge by Romeo Lavia. One hell of a strong tackle, and that's going to be a yellow card for the Chelsea midfielder. Came crunching in on Calvin Bassey there. I mean, he looks absolutely perplexed at the decision, but I mean, doesn't take much brain power to figure out that that was a really poor challenge. I mean, that's so dangerous. The ball, he didn't win the ball. He just comes crashing in. Full pelt. I mean, fair play to him, he's fully committed, but full pelt. And that's two Chelsea players now on a booking. Levi Colwell and Romeo Lavia both shown yellow cards in the first 12 minutes by referee John Brooks. Bernd Leno out to Bassey. 1-2. Oh, got caught in possession there by Rodgers, but he couldn't find Joao Pedro first time with his pass. Constant press there from Chelsea. Reece James pressing the highest. Goal kick it will be. As I say, referee John Brooks, VAR Darren England for this one. I mean, we say that every game. Does it make a difference who the names are? Maybe we recognise some of them. Some of them I have not got a clue. Throw in here down the left for Chelsea. Fulham just not been able to get going so far. I mean, that early goal for Chelsea, that really early goal, would have just killed any sort of home momentum they would have been trying to build from the first couple of minutes. But I have to say, they struggled to get the ball and really do anything with it, Fulham. Oh, what is going on there from Robert Sanchez? What in the spaceman goalkeeping was that? Does he realise there's a goal line that he can't cross? He's getting himself ready off to kick it and then lets it cross the byline. It's a corner to Fulham. That's horrendous from the goalkeeper. That's madness. Bob takes it short. Have to retake it though. I don't think the assistant was happy with the positioning of the ball there in the quadrant. It will be retaken the corner. Bit of wind. Move that ball there. Maybe that was the issue. Bob will take again. This time he delivers. Cleared away at the front post. It will bounce down and out for the throw. Castagna. King back to Timothy Castagna. And Wolby will square it back across to Cuenca. For them to build from the back. Sander Berger. Wolby. Playing a bit of a deeper role than we usually seen. Kind of Alex Iwobi previously more of a winger, more of a front-footed, kind of aggressive player in the wide areas for Fulham in previous seasons under Marco Silva. He's playing a bit of a deeper role so far tonight. Here he is again, Iwobi. Wide to fullback there in Anthony Robinson. Ball's fired into the path of Gonzalo Garcia here. And that will be a Fulham throw. Ball to Anthony Robinson, went out for a throw-in down that far left-hand side. Well, just 22 years old, Gonzalo Garcia joins from Real Madrid, the Spaniard. £35 million. £34 million, shall I say. And came through the Real Madrid Academy, of course. Scored in his last game for Real Madrid, albeit a club friendly, against Legans, shall I say, early in the season. Oh, latched on by Josh King from the loose ball, but Lacroix and Colwell deal with it to settle the danger that was emerging. Banjo says Pedro saves the FPL blushes. I haven't been too bad. I've got a bit lucky this weekend. The fact that, I mean, Kai Havertz did well. I have him in. Lewis Potter scored. He did very well. I think Mark Guehi did well yesterday as well. He scored. So quite a few, although I didn't predict that Mark Guehi would be in midfield for Manchester City, but there you have it. Araya and Gabriel keeping clean sheets. So a decent weekend. I'm on 61 points as it stands. I've Rodgers and Joao Pedro still to play tonight. See what I get from those two, but not a bad opening weekends. Could be a bit more, but one or two bad calls that I can reflect on ahead of next week. Leno gonna launch it long that time. No playing out from the back there. Lacroix and Reece James couldn't hold on to it, but they get it back after heavy touch from Garcia. Chiampong. Gusto, good step in onto his left foot, finds Palmer. Isolated there on the right flank. All the way back here. Chiampong and now Lacroix. What I want to see from Chelsea this season, and you know, Chelsea have been a bit of we know they're a bit of a basket case at times over the last few seasons with the change in managers, difference of approach, all these signings. They've been crazy. Oh, that's a lovely run from Joel Hato. Couldn't squeeze the through ball though, lost his train. But one back by Cole Palmer. He couldn't get past Anthony Robinson. Now he will break away. As I say, I want this season, I think Xabi Alonso, they brought in some strong kind of experienced players, Danny Welbeck, Jordan Henderson at Chelsea for this season. I think I want to just see a bit more steeliness from Chelsea, just not as flimsy as they have been. Reece James does well to win it back. Pedro. Lavia. Colwell. Lavia. I expect them to be stronger and better this season, Chelsea, than they have been. Much more settled looking, albeit only the first 18 minutes of the season. Palmer trying to work his way around tight angles and very little gaps in place here. Gusto back to Reece James, square across to Lacroix. Look at the many bodies they're pushing forward here, Chelsea. 6 on the front line. Lacroix almost caught in possession. Bassi did win it back off Joao Pedro. And now Sander Berger has to go all the way backwards when it looked like an attack was on. And look at that from Palmer. And nipped in by Rodgers. Couldn't find Palmer again. Anthony Robinson stepped in. Well, I mean, given away. Rodgers, Palmer on his left. Closed down. I mean, what on earth are Fulham at here? It's clear the ball. Reece James, one back down the left-hand side. The right-hand side, swung in deep this. Pato guides it across, finds Joao Pedro, back to Colwell, into space for Palmer. Palmer onto his left, Palmer back onto his right, couldn't take the shot. Lost the ball, and look at the many bodies committed in the space in behind. Lacroix's on his own here against Gonzalo Garcia. Good challenge by Maxence Lacroix. And Garcia just recycles it round the back to settle things again for Fulham. Here's Josh King though. In space, goal to shoot, does shoot! And parried away by Robert Sanchez. This has been a mad game of football. That's Fulham's first shot of the game, but This has been madness. Lovely ball by Sander Berger. Good turn by Josh King. Onto his right foot. Told to shoot by the crowd. And duly delivers with the shot. Venomous with his right foot. Straight down the throat of the keeper, who parries it away from danger. It's been chaotic, to say the very least, this first 20 minutes. Craven Cottage. Madness. Alexa Iwobi to take the corner. Right footed. Bounces down. King with a little flick. Does keep the ball. Drops it back, in the shot from the edge of the area from Palacios is over the crossbar. Well, they were checking for a possible handball against Anthony Robinson there, VAR, but they've checked and cleared it. Looked like it was in a natural position. I have to say, though, that kind of 20-30 second spell where Fulham just couldn't clear the ball, didn't get the clearance out of their area, and they were giving the ball back to Chelsea in such dangerous areas consistently there for a good 30 seconds. That was madness. That was pure and utter chaos from Fulham. They had 7 or 8 players back and they still could not clear their lines. I think we do need a couple of minutes spell. I've just settled it in a little bit. I'm loving it though, but it's hard to keep up with. Josh King breaks upon a loose ball. Checked by Lavia. King up against Colwell. Fired it across. No one there to meet it. Still not away clearly. Shot from Berger is blocked. Kept in play though. Castagna. Bob onto his left. Sander Berger back to Josh King. Really impressed me last season, Josh King. Really impressive footballer. A really strong season. Really burst onto the scene last season. Really come into his own in the Fulham side. Was too good to leave out despite his tender age. Lovely from Gonzalo Garcia. Couldn't squeeze it through the first time to Palacios. Does feed it wide to Robinson. Now Palacios gets it. It's non-stop this. Really non-stop this game. Bassi. Bob. Down the right hand side. Castagna back to Bob. Bassi. Square across to Sander Berger. Will be down the left now to Robinson. Halfway through the first half, and it's flew by this first 22.5 minutes. Fulham 0, Chelsea 1. Joao Pedro with the opener on 30 seconds or so. Lovely little 1-2 with King and Castagna. Josh King! Oh, what a finish! Straight under Robert Sanchez. And the young teenager delivers for Fulham and finds their leveller. He's the man that's led their attack in the first 23 minutes. Well, he's led their leveller and finds Fulham's first goal of the season. And a coolly taken finish. Sweet strike. Low, hard, underneath the goalkeeper. Fulham 1, Chelsea 1. Josh King is king. And that finish was top drawer. Again, we see it here. Really good combination play this between Castagna and King. He gives it out wide to Castagna. He goes on a little run in behind the, I think it is Lavia that just doesn't track his run. Beautiful ball. Weighted in behind. And then the finish, low and hard. Robert Sanchez should do better though. But it's a really clean finish. I mean, it's awful goalkeeping. It's horrendous goalkeeping. What on earth? I mean, I said earlier, what in the spaceman goalkeeping was that from Robert Sanchez? Well, this one, I mean, he might have had his blinkers on. He might have had a blindfold on. Because that was horrendous goalkeeping. But nonetheless, great finish from Josh King. And Fulham level on 23 minutes. Could be more danger here. Sanchez almost into trouble again. Clears it long. Bassi, maybe. The balance of things might have swung back in Fulham's favour all of a sudden. Good pressure on the ball. Well, one back. Iwobi. Robinson back it goes to Cuenca. A very good last 5-10 minutes from Fulham though. They've responded well to going behind so early and struggled to grapple with the game in the first 10-15 minutes, but they've just settled, got a couple of touches, good passes, got everybody really moving on the ball. And they've just settled into things. Oh, Iwobi deep in his own box, played a reverse pass to Cuenca, dangerous play, but doesn't end up in a Chelsea throw. Josh King wide on the left, almost as a left back there. You have to say Chelsea probably could have made more out of their, blistering start. Could have been further than one ahead. There's Palmer offside there. That long ball. I have to say, Robert Sanchez, I think that if there's anything, any major criticism for Chelsea, they're great in attack, they've got great depth in attack, great depth in midfield, very good depth in defence. The depth and quality is lacking a goalkeeper. Some would say that's their most important position, because in moments like that, I don't mean to be rude, goalkeepers make mistakes and it happens all the time, and opening weekend you're not fully fit, you're not fully focused, your match sharpness isn't to peak. We see that, but Robert Sanchez has been doing it for 2 or 3 years at Chelsea now, and he gets away with it, and I don't understand how. He's crap. He is just crap. He's mid-tier at best Premier League goalkeeper. He's not a top-tier goalkeeper. It's been evident over the last 2 seasons with some howlers. Given away here again by Chelsea. Castagna fired across. Gonzalo Garcia got behind it. It deflected, I think, away from goal there rather than the shot itself. Physics and all that. Rodgers pins it back, but he's on his own trying to face off 4 Fulham players. Castagna. Now Berger. Into the box. Oscar Bob gets the brick of the ball away from Hato. Bob cuts it back. Garcia couldn't get the shot clean. Look at this all of a sudden. Chelsea on the ropes now. This is theatrical and this is cinema, to say the very least. This is madness. It's absolutely incredible to watch, but you can't tell from 1 second to the next what's going to happen. It feels like this game's being played at 100 miles an hour every single minute. There's no respite, there's no break, and I have to say I'm loving it. But as I said, as a commentator, you're trying to keep up with things, and you're saying one thing, and 3 different other things are happening while you're saying what you're saying. But we love it anyway, don't we? Free kick to Fulham here. See this chance again. Oscar Bob does really well, drags 2 players out, spins back with a lovely cutback ball, and good block there from Achiempong on the Gonzalo Garcia shot, but Fulham looking so dangerous in moments. That's a lovely ball in behind. Josh King's made a really good run. If he can find someone in the middle, this could be a good chance. King's blocked by Lacroix, that cross. And for the Fulham corner, he is tearing them apart at the moment. Josh King with those runs in behind. Look at the gap though. Gap is gaping between Hato and the left centre-back. I think it's Colwell again. Just the gaps are gaping between wing-back and centre-back. King is just charging into that space every couple of minutes. Every chance he gets, really. Short corner. Bob and Iwobi. Back to Oscar Bob. Robinson to the edge of the box. King with a good first touch. He's battling and wrestling with Cole Palmer. And that's going to be a free kick to Chelsea. I haven't even had a chance to give you a stat or any sort of information. It's just been constant commentary. Well, Fulham will begin a Premier League season with the London Derby for the 4th time. They have lost each of the previous 3, though, that they have opened the season with the London Derby. A 2-1 away against Arsenal in 07-08. At home to Crystal Palace in 2018-19, 2-0 defeat. And a 3-0 home defeat against Arsenal in the 2020-21 season. I remember watching that game. Actually, it was a lunchtime kickoff on the Saturday afternoon, and Arsenal destroyed them that day. So not a good record opening the season with London derbies to Fulham. It's been a fierce And really, I mean, in the balance of things, it's been over the first 30 minutes. Both sides have given as good as they've got, really. Both going all out attack when they can. Here's Cole Palmer down the right hand side. He's got a Iwobi on the scene. Palmer drafts it in. João Pedro! What a chance, and he's missed the target completely. That was ready to absolutely rip the net. Beautiful again, though, from Cole Palmer. Absolutely fantastic. Charging down that right hand side. This quality of ball in, though, is wonderful. Lofted it in, and it just left that zip on it, just to allow João Pedro to absolutely hammer it with the instep of his right foot. He's ready to bulge the back of the net, and he just couldn't direct it home. Directed wide, but big chance there for João Pedro. Nicely done by Iwobi there. Good combination between Gonzalo Garcia and Palacios, and down the left now. Robinson in! Sanchez had to throw himself at that one. Otherwise, Josh King would have been lapping it up round the back. Well, one back though by Calvin Bassey, who's bursting forward. Robinson. Bit of a deflection there. Bassey still charging. Sanchez launches it forward. Fulham are playing really well here all of a sudden. I have to say, I'm really enjoying this. Two teams that are just giving no care about defending, just constantly thinking about what's happening forward. Beautiful. I love it. Kind of what I thought it would be with these two managers. All like gung-ho attacking. I mean, less Xabi Alonso loves the control and the possession-based stuff, but with the quality of attacking players that he has at his disposal, it would be silly not to be a bit more offensively aggressive, especially with that three that they've got starting tonight, and two of them have absolutely lit it up so far. João Pedro and Cole Palmer, as well as Rodgers on the periphery too. Here's Bassey down the right for Josh King. He's been everywhere. If Cole Palmer's been everywhere for Chelsea, Josh King's been everywhere for Fulham. Iwobi looking inside, couldn't find Palacios. That was blocked off by Cole Palmer. Iwobi's chasing down a winner back off at Chiempong, and now he's straight on to Gusto, who has to launch it clear. That's fabulous pressing from Alex Iwobi there. No matter who was on the ball, he was chasing it down. He does well to win Fulham the throw-in out of that situation. Bassey. Cuenca under pressure. Palacios losing it. That was given away a little cheaply there by Fulham, and now the three-pronged attacker on the move. It's Morgan Rodgers drifting across. Bounces back, shots from Reece James straight into the hands of Bernd Leno. They came flying forward there, Chelsea, and lovely from Cole Palmer, nice little turn. João Pedro lays it off, finds Morgan Rodgers, just back onto his right foot, fairly central, inside the D, has the shot, deflected and bounces back to Reece James, who has a shot easily caught by Bernd Leno. Rodgers finding a gap there to look for Malo Gusto. He's got Cole Palmer wide. Here is Palmer. An absolute blockbuster so far. First 33 and 3/4 minutes. Fulham 1, Chelsea 1. João Pedro giving Chelsea the lead inside 30 odd seconds. And Josh King levelling for Fulham on 23 minutes with a wonderful straight strike, but should have done better. Robert Sanchez in the Chelsea goal, you have to say. You have to be critical of the goalkeeper, but take nothing away from the attacking phase from Fulham's point of view. It's just been constant up end to end since that leveller from Fulham. It's been electric. Lacroix down the right here to Chiempong, has the space to break. Chiempong still going into the box, clips it across and deflected there by Palacios, who chased him back. Chelsea corner. This is probably the time to take a breath. Remember, at half-time, we'll analyse Xabi Alonso and his managerial career so far, summer signings for Fulham. Here's Jarell Hato, headed down, bit of bubbling. Someone got a shot in there, but Bernd Leno made the save. Have to see the replay. Ball in. Short corner. Reece James delivers it deep. Jarell Hato heads it down. Is it Lavia? It is Lavia that just pokes a left toe at it. Prods it. Right toe, sorry. And good save by Bernd Leno. Making himself as big as he could. Corner to Chelsea. Third corner of the game. 7th overall in the match. Reece James right-footed. Punched away by Bernd Leno, who commanded his area there. Was still a little bit telegraphed to Palmer. He done really well under pressure. And Palacios dragging Cole Palmer down. It's a free kick and nothing more. Although Palmer makes the claim that it should be more than just a free kick. There maybe should be a card emerging, but I mean, it is a foul. You could probably say a yellow card could be given, but that would be a little harsh in my opinion to give a yellow card for that. Free kick launched into the area, headed away well at the back post by Castagna, picked up though by Lavia. Gusto all the way back to the free kick taker and Reece James, all the way back to his goalkeeper. Sanchez with a long ball out. Rodgers couldn't hold on to it there. Jarell Hato. Fulham have been the better team in the last 10-15 minutes. Chelsea have had one or two chances on the break, but I think Fulham have been in control since they equalised. I have to be honest. This is a switch. It's short to King, but the second ball picked up by Sander Berge. And King does well to win the throw-in out of Morgan Rodgers down the right-hand side. 7.5 minutes, the first half to go, plus any additional time. A reminder for you, Champions League action for you tomorrow to see whether Lask or Celtic will be in the Champions League phase. The second leg of that game tomorrow at 8 o'clock from Austria. Celtic 3-0 up going into that game. That's tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Looking forward to that one. Cuenca. Back to Bernd Leno, who will launch long. Looking for Gonzalo Garcia, who did well to direct the ball. Taken in by Palacios. Garcia, nice combination, finds Robinson. Got Gusto for company. Two fullbacks. Robinson's ball in. Little deep. Will be picked up though on the right by Josh King. Bob. Oscar Bob down the line to Castagna. Fired into the path of Sander Berge, who did well to control it under pressure. Drops now for Bassi, who wanted to strike through it. Takes a deflection, finds Robinson. Now Iwobi, told to shoot by the crowd, decides against it. Switches wide to Robinson. Palacios lets it roll across his body. Couldn't get the shot off. Berge might have. Squares it to Bob. He was eyeing up a shot, but he will ping it wide to Robinson, who will head across and into the hands of Robert Sanchez it will go. Pedro the target there. He was the only Chelsea player in the vicinity, but Calvin Bassi came and won and gives it away to Morgan Rodgers and ends up on the ground. Bassi. Here's Joao Pedro, surrounded by a number of Fulham players and fouled by Josh King, says the referee. So a free kick to Chelsea. Is it just me, or does it feel like this game is going at twice the speed, or even 3 times the normal speed? Lacroix. Achiempo. Gusto back to Maxence Lacroix. Gusto into Palmer. Lovely little step and turn. And now finds Lacroix in an attacking space. Lacroix still going. Fires it across. Rodgers with a tap in. 2-1 Chelsea. They carve Fulham open there. And Morgan Rodgers off the mark in a Chelsea shirt. In his first game in a Chelsea shirt in the Premier League. Fulham 1, Chelsea 2. And Morgan Rodgers off and running in a blue shirt. Now Maxence Lacroix there has to get all the plaudits for that attacking play, because he was at the byline and he's a centre back. I mean, look at this where it all starts for Maxence Lacroix. And he starts and charges down that right. And Palmer plays him in and he does really well in such tight space. Beautiful ball across. Everybody from Fulham attracted to the ball. And as the ball feeds through, Morgan Rodgers has all the time in the world to know where he's going to put it. And he's a big net to put it into. And he does it well. Does it really well. Fulham 1, Chelsea 2. And Morgan Rodgers adding to João Pedro's goal. And Chelsea back in front. Palmer, oh, lovely ball. Gusto with it, not a great first touch. It will bounce in the way of Chelsea. Rodgers didn't get a good first touch either. Try and pass it off. Cole Palmer, that pass round the corner. Filthy. Filthy. Oh, lovely from Achiampong. Nice little turn there. Lavia. Lacroix. Across now to Colwell. Nice turn there by João Pedro. Drifted out to the left here for the moment. Reece James. Lavia. Lacroix to Achiampong. Chelsea moving with such fluidity at the minute. Here's Cole Palmer. Bundled over by Anthony Robinson. No foul, said the referee, but he's in chase to win it back here, Palmer. Look at that. Like a man possessed. Robinson gets it away, though, from danger. And Garcia dropping a little deeper to help out with the build-up, but Fulham cannot get it there. Ducks in a row there with the possession. Give it away cheaply. Harto. James clipping it forward, looking for the run of Cole Palmer, sorry. Not finding the target there. Colwell. James. Lavia. Chiampong wide to Palmer on the right hand side. Sides against a pass forward. Oh, square to Chiampong, who almost gives it away as Lavia is there to make up for the mistake. Over the top, looking for the run of Malo Gusto, who's getting forward here down the right. Cuenca measures it well, but Robinson too slow to react. Rodgers quick on the scene. Here's Cole Palmer. Palmer to curl it. Wide of the target. Well, that would have been beautiful from Cole Palmer. And what we talked about, that front three of Chelsea, of Cole Palmer, Morgan Rodgers and João Pedro, they all would have been on the score sheet if that had went in. Really, really fabulous again from Chelsea. They've looked so strong going forward. So dangerous, devastating in attack. Absolutely devastating. Last 30 seconds of the first 45. We'll see how long's added on at the end of this first half. Bassett. A very loud travelling Chelsea support here at Craven Cottage, singing Morgan Rodgers' name. Gonzalo Garcia, Palacios, Robinson, into Garcia. Tried a little back heel with Palacios. He hasn't had his best first half, Gonzalo Garcia. 2 added minutes, by the way. He's tried to drop a little deeper and get involved in things, but just trying to link things up, just hasn't completely got it right. 1 or 2 little mistakes. The ball away a little cheaply. It just leaves Fulham a little exposed when they do give it away. Oscar Bob down the right hand side here, swindling through a few, but run into trouble eventually. Right for the throw in down the right hand side for Fulham. As I mentioned, we'll talk about these two and how they start their season, their first 5 Premier League games. We'll also talk about in a bit more depth about the opening weekend results for the newly appointed managers. We'll also talk about Fulham's summer signings, some key players and what they could do, and also Xabi Alonso as a whole in his managerial career so far, and what really Chelsea fans can expect for Xabi Alonso. I mean, it's what documented his teams, and I'm sure we would have caught. Many of us would have watched and seen that fabulous Bayer Leverkusen team that went unbeaten in Bundesliga, but we'll talk more about that at half-time. Lots to get our teeth into during the half-time break here. Josh King. Bassi. Going to bypass the midfield, finds Castagna, but that's a backwards header that just puts Fulham under pressure, really. Did well to recover from it. Rodgers taken down by 2, and Bob and Castagna, but that's going to curtail the end of the first half. So a first half of absolute electricity from both teams. Non-stop attacking from both, up completely, end-to-end madness. A goal inside 30 seconds when João Pedro gave Chelsea the lead in the first minute. Robert Sanchez with a howling mistake, allowing Josh King's effort to find the net for 1-1. Before Morgan Rodgers find Chelsea's second, on his debut, his first goal for Chelsea. And Chelsea lead at the break in this South West London derby. Half time, it's Fulham 1, Chelsea 2. Ekitike! That is pure and utter class from Ugo Ekitike. And Burbo tucks it home. Red shines brightest on Old Trafford pitch. And Manchester United take the lead. And saved by Okonkwo. There's the magic moments. Arthur Okonkwo, the hero for Wrexham. Final whistle goes. And Manchester United have done it. The league double over Liverpool for the first time in 10 years. McGinn finding Buendia, trying to curl one. Oh wow! Emi Buendia for the 5th time in a row. Celtic are going to win the title. Final whistle goes. Hull City up Premier League again. It's all over. Arsenal are the champions. Gabriel, little run up. Oh, he skied it over the bar. PSG are European champions once again. Welcome back to Premier League Live half time at Craven Cottage. It's been a blistering first 45 in this South West London derby between Fulham and Chelsea. It's Fulham 1, Chelsea 2 at the break. And we'll get into it really at this moment in time. We will in a second, once I have the details of what we're doing next. It is time to look at the stats. Now, this is just a very raw look at the way things look at the moment, but if you can see, I mean, you can see that Chelsea dominate and are dominating a lot of these areas at this moment in time. If we can just squeeze this a little bit, open this up a little bit more for you, but what an incredible first half it is from this man, Cole Palmer. And we're going to get into this because I really want to have a look at what Cole Palmer's done really well in this first half. If you look at the shot chances from Chelsea, I mean their best chances obviously coming inside the area in their best moments. Look at the shots: 13 shots, 5 on target, 6 of those 13 blocked, by the way, in that first half. A lot of the play in the attacking zones area here. If you can see, I'll be able to. There we go. If it's lit up there. But the attacking zones, a lot of Chelsea's plays through the middle and slightly more down the right-hand side, which is where Palmer is playing. Rodgers is playing in that central role as well. So we're seeing more of that down that side for Chelsea than anywhere else. If you look at their best players, the top performers in this game, in terms of football rating, Morgan Rodgers, the top rated, Maxence Lacroix, and then Cole Palmer, and then Joao Pedro. But if we go to attack and we look at this, if we can find it, where is it? I think it's passes, yeah. Passes, chances created. Morgan Rodgers, 4 chances. Cole Palmer, 3 chances created in that first half. Their passing accuracy, 95% passing accuracy. 18 of his 19 passes Cole Palmer has made in that first half. If we really take an in-depth look at Cole Palmer, look at his heat map, absolutely lighting it up down that right-hand side of the attack, completely destroying that side of the field at the moment. And you look at the quality that he has. I mean, his top speed, the distance he's covered, his passing accuracy, the chances he's created. And then he's not only creating chances for others, but then making moments for himself. 1 shot on target, 1 off target, 1 blocked. So he's getting shots off himself, as you can see there in that little map. But then if you go down here, with his touches, 35 touches, successful dribbles, accurate crosses, all of that. But passes into the final third, 4. Line breaking passes, 5. All incredible numbers for this first half. Really, really incredible first half from Cole Palmer. I had to mention it because it's just been absolutely sensational, the performance that he's put in that first half. We're going to try and do this a little more often, really, at halftime, just getting more in-depth at things. But really, if you look at every single metric, their XG, their shots on target, touches in the opposition box, big chances, all of that for Chelsea, they are leading. The only thing they're not leading is passing accuracy and possession. But what they're doing is they're so dangerous in transition and fast breaks They're absolutely blistering Chelsea, or Fulham's defence, blasting them away. It's a fantastic performance so far from Chelsea, and they're unlucky to not be further ahead than what they are, and have a bigger lead than they do. So it looks like it's looking better for Xabi Alonso than it is Alvaro Arbeloa at half-time for this one. Still 2-1 though, but these are the weekend results for the new managers. Gary O'Neill at Ipswich, 1-2-1 against Sunderland with Ipswich. Enzo Maresca, that late win for Manchester City against Bournemouth. Draws for Jaisla and Iraola for Newcastle and Liverpool in that 2-2 draw yesterday, and then defeats for Pierre Sage, Oliver Glasner and Marco Rosa in their respective games. Two of those, Pierre Sage and Oli Glasner, both their teams without a goal in their opening games. Well, if we look at Fulham and their big summer signings, they've splashed the cash a little bit this summer. Fulham, Gonzalo Garcia from Real Madrid for £34 million. Shay Charles, the most expensive ever Northern Irish player, Shay Charles for £30 million from Southampton. Cesar Palacios from Real Madrid at £8.6 million. And Jonakusi Asari as well, a good player, joined on permanent deal from Bayern Munich for £5.2 million. They're their kind of statement summer signings, especially the top two there, Garcia and Charles. But instead of talking about Fulham as a whole, I think they'll be incredible. We've seen Palacios and Garcia try their best to get involved in the game, and it's not quite worked for them in that first half so far. I think they've just been a little too cute, but it will work. I mean, they're facing a Chelsea side who've got blistering quality all over the field, so it's not that this is going to be the definition of those players tonight, but and it's on their debuts as well, so I wouldn't get too kind of bogged down with that too early. But when we're analysing things, we have to talk about managers, head coaches, Alvaro Arbeloa and Xabi Alonso. And Xabi Alonso in particular, because we know what he is. We know what Xabi Alonso is. A back three, control possession, wants to dominate the other team. Really aggressive manager, but also really smart, really tactical, really kind of tinkering with things. And he will be that at Chelsea. And I look forward to seeing that where they dominate teams and become such a force to enjoy Chelsea. And if we look at his career so far, Real Sociedad B for 3 years. He won promotion to the Segunda Division with them before moving on to Bayer Leverkusen, where he absolutely lit it up. Won the Bundesliga, the DFB Pokal, and the DFL Super Cup in Germany in that season. A treble season, an unbeaten season, and came so close to doing a wonderful quadruple in the Europa League as well, finishing as runners-up in the Europa League, of course, to Atalanta in that season. Wonderful campaign for Bayer Leverkusen, who absolutely lit it up in Germany. Incredible campaign, a wonderful job he did at Bayer Leverkusen. Then went on to Real Madrid, got the Real Madrid job, but despite a 70% win rate and winning 24 of his 34 games in charge, he was sacked, and it was mainly due to a dispute with Vinicius Jr., and that's why he is no longer at the football club, and that caused all the drama and concern. Real Madrid, a bit of a soap opera at the best at times, and I think they lost a really good manager in Xabi Alonso there at Real Madrid, but of course they've got Jose Mourinho now, so who knows. And of course now at Chelsea, he's had a fantastic start to his career, and it's still very early in his managerial career, but he's got Bayer Leverkusen and now Real Madrid on the CV. Now at Chelsea, I think he will build something. The question mark is whether he'll be given time at Chelsea. We've seen Chelsea not give managers much time to really do business, to set things and to set a system and to really get things in place. It's either, if it's not working really well, you're out the door. If there's a bit of back talk behind the scenes, it gets a little bit tense. We've seen that with Chelsea. They've been a basket case for the last number of seasons. Whether that continues, we'll see, or whether it will change with Xabi Alonso. We hope so. I certainly hope so, because I want to see Chelsea. Not that I'm a Chelsea supporter or I want to see Chelsea do well or win things. I just want to see a good manager do well, and I think Xabi Alonso is a really good manager and deserves the time and chance to do it. If we look at the opening games of the season for Fulham, it's a pretty tough start, I have to say. Chelsea at home tonight, then a trip to Sunderland next week, where it's been was a fortress last season, the Stadium of Light. Then against Crystal Palace, which is probably their most winnable game of the first 5. Then a trip to Anfield a week later before welcoming Man United to Craven Cottage the following weekend. So a tough start for Fulham, and not much easier though for Chelsea. Fulham tonight is probably their easiest game for the first 3. Brighton at home next week, a Brighton side who have been incredible against Chelsea over the last few seasons, and a trip to the champions Arsenal a week later. That will be one hell of a fixture to look forward to in 2 weeks' time there at the Emirates. Then Hull at home, must-win game surely at that point, and then a trip to Brentford for another London derby. And Brentford, after their displays against Spurs on Saturday evening, might be off for another wonderful season under Keith Andrews. We will see. So, we're halfway through our final game of the opening weekend of the Premier League season, and it looks like we're on the cards for only our second away win of the weekend. After Leeds won away at Nottingham Forest, 7 of the 9 results already this weekend have been away wins. Only Leeds and Liverpool, home wins, shall I say, only Leeds and Liverpool have come away from their away games without losing so far this weekend. Will Chelsea follow suit, or can Fulham find a way back in the second half? We'll find out. Second half of this derby at Craven Cottage on the way next. Welcome back. Second half between Fulham and Chelsea on the way very shortly, but a reminder for you of what's to come this week. Coming tomorrow, the second leg of the Champions League playoff round between Las Glints and Celtic. Celtic 3 up from the first leg at Celtic Park last Wednesday afternoon. We'll see that one tomorrow night at 8. And then the Premier League, second weekend of the season, match day 2 gets underway on Friday nights. It feels like it's a blink of an eye away. Crystal Palace taking on Manchester City at Sellers Park Friday at 8 o'clock. Welcome back. Right, both sets of players out for the second half. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the notification bell in following us and joining us on this journey across the Premier League season. My head is all over the place at the minute, I have to be honest. So thank you very much for joining us for this one tonight to conclude the weekends here at LFS. Great to have your company as always with us. So it is hopefully going to be a fantastic second half here. I don't doubt it after the first half we had in store. I expect more of the same in the seconds between these two. As Fulham get us back underway, we are off and running for the second half once again here at Craven Cottage. First half where Chelsea did all the right things in attack. It was bar a goalkeeping error. It could be an easy street here at Craven Cottage. They've been blistering Chelsea, but that goal for Fulham keeps them very much in the match. Very much in the fixture at this stage of this game. Quite a long way to go. Only a 1-goal deficit. That is more than achievable to find a way back. And these derbies against Chelsea have burned Fulham in the past. That 2-1 win against Chelsea here at Craven Cottage last season was a fantastic result for them. All 3 goals coming in the second half. That late winner from Harry Wilson, who's no longer at the football club. Neither is the older goal scorer, Raul Jimenez. Marco Gray, of course, sent off very early in that game, if you remember. It was last season. It's actually Fulham's only win, though, at Craven Cottage against Chelsea in the last 3. They've only 2 wins at home against Chelsea, dating back all the way to the start of 2006. So there you have it. 2 of the last 4 home results have come as wins against Chelsea, but both of those occasions Chelsea have been down to 10 men in those respective games which they've won. They've lost the other 2, 2-1 and 2-0 against Chelsea. So it's been a struggle for Chelsea coming to Craven Cottage over the last few seasons, but not so far tonight, it seems. Their away form at the end of last season was pretty dismal. Chelsea, they failed to win any of their last 4 away games in the Premier League, lost 3 of those. The only game they didn't lose in their trips at the end of last season was at Anfield, quite ironically. They lost away to Everton, away to Brighton and away to Sunderland. 2 3-0 thumpings against Everton and Brighton on the back of those. Oscar Bob trying to burst down the right here. Colwell covering him over. Loose there from Chelsea, but they get the benefit of the bounce of the ball, and now the ball spins out to Cole Palmer on the right hand side. Watched closely by Anthony Robertson. Palmer skips away, sidesteps away from that challenge. Palmer still going, using his physicality. Now the finish needs to be there, just wide of the mark. Cole Palmer, he's saying it was a deflection. The officials say no, but my goodness, look at this, Cole Palmer. I mean, he is just on another level at the minute. Incredible. See this again, just the ease of how easy he makes it look. Just bouncing off people. Unbelievable. And the finish just carried a little wide, but everything before that, absolutely insane. Robert Sanchez looks as confident as ever. Oh, actually might bounce in the way of João Pedro here. Did stay onside, flag stays down for the moment. Palmer arriving, rolls it round the corner. Cole Palmer! Rolls it under Bernd Leno's legs. That adds a 3rd to the Chelsea lead. All 3 of the front 3 are on the score sheet for Chelsea. Pedro with 1, Rodgers with 2, Palmer with 3. The perfect trio have Chelsea 2 goals up at Craven Cottage. And Cole Palmer has been the spark all night for the Blues. Well, he's giving Fulham nightmares with this performance. An absolute wonder show from Cole Palmer. João Pedro, he's well onside. He's in his own half. Flick on header. Beautifully take it in. I think it's Rodgers that gets the flick on. It is. It's Palmer then. João Pedro carries it such a distance. Waits for the outside run round the back of João Pedro from Cole Palmer. Narrow angle under the legs of the goalkeeper. Gets a bit of fortune, but beautiful little finish. Deft little touch. Rolls it under the goalkeeper's legs. Lovely. Beautiful. Fulham 1, Chelsea 3. Cool as you like. From the ice cold Cole Palmer. This is set to be a wonderful night though for Chelsea. Last thing Fulham need is this to get any worse than what it is. Hato switching out to the left. Look at the space he's got. Jarrell Hato is in. Onto his right. Rolls it across. Anthony Robinson with a fabulous challenge that needed to be made. Otherwise it would have been 4. Such an open defence, Fulham. They're all over the place. Gaps are emerging in massive clumps. So much space to exploit. It's unreal. I mean, it's a suicide mission for Fulham defensively. It's horrendous. Loose ball given away cheaply there by Anthony Robinson. Look at Cole Palmer. I mean, he's just having fun now. Oh, they got away with that one there, Fulham. Oh, he actually has blown up for the foul. The referee took a while. Joel Hartle brought down. Referee didn't initially give it, but has had a change of heart. John Brooks. Yeah. I don't think that's a foul, to be honest. I think he's unlucky there, Timothy Castagna, because I don't think he does anything wrong. He gets the ball. It's a clean tackle. I think Hartle runs into him rather than the other way about. Hartle almost had a chance to make it forward for Chelsea a little earlier. Tried to square it to Morgan Rogers, who was just about beaten to it by Anthony Robinson, but so close. Space to get in behind Fulham is, I mean, it's ridiculous how much space there is for Chelsea to exploit. And considering what we've seen already from Chelsea, I mean, it's horrendously bad to continue doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. It's the sign of insanity. You have to make a change. You have to do something different here, Fulham. Otherwise you will be on the end of an absolute pasting here tonight. Chelsea are in the mood. They're already 3-1 up. Can't afford to let it get any worse than what it is for them. Quite ironically, this is the first time that either of these two have scored more than 2 goals in this game, this fixture against each other, since 2014, when Chelsea won 3-1 here in March 2014, and it was a hat-trick from Andre Schürrle that delivered that one. Heitinga, Johnny Heitinga, of course, who was, I think he was the Liverpool goalkeeping coach for a few years. He scored for Fulham, but it finished 3-1 in that game. That's the last time that either of these two scored 3 goals in this fixture. The last 2 have both been Chelsea, scoring 3 at Craven Cottage. Here's a chance for Fulham, making a goal. They have got a goal. It's Palacios, I think it is. Gonzalo Garcia, actually it is. And Fulham have got one back. Well, I told you this game's madness. Another error from that man in the net, Robert Sanchez. And Gonzalo Garcia is the one to pounce on it. Can we see this here? It's a long ball from the back. Really good timed run. Good step in. Lovely from, I think that is, trying to see who that is. A lovely ball from Cuenca from the back. Step in well from Timothy Castagna. He's shot blocked. Parried by Sanchez into the path of Gonzalo Garcia. Bounces up and he heads it, nods it off the ground and up and over the keeper and into the back of the net. My goodness. Another mistake by the goalkeeper. And Gonzalo Garcia scores on his debut. 5 goals. And this is a blockbuster. An absolute blockbuster. Well, I was just saying about how this is the highest scoring for one team in 12 years. It's the highest scoring derby between these two since 2005, when it was a 3-2 win for Chelsea on Boxing Day 2005. Well, here come Fulham again. They might add a third here. Robinson with the early ball in. It's a long, deep one. Bob will keep it in play on the right. Look at how things have changed all of a sudden. Oscar Bob, edge of the box. Back to Berger, wide to Castagna. Left-footed delivery, deep. Too close to Robert Sanchez, who got a catch to that. My goodness, player, this is madness. My goodness me. Well, I'm not accepting that in the chat. Not an English player in sight. That's not acceptable. I mean, I don't know what ideology you're trying to wheel up there, but not acceptable. Considering that, what, 3 of the 5 scorers tonight are English players: Morgan Rogers, Cole Palmer and Josh King. So I'm not accepting that at all. Alex Iwobi, square to Bassett. What a mental game this is. When Chelsea looked like they were running away with it, Fulham have got a goal out of nowhere. Has kept it now back to 1. The gap between the two teams in the score sheet. But now Fulham have got the momentum all of a sudden. Into the box there from Castagna. Josh King the threat. He wins the corner. He is the one. Josh King's been the one that's been leading the charge for Fulham. Maybe not so successfully right the way throughout the game, but you have to say, he's trying his hardest to get them back in it again. Corner here for Fulham on the right hand side. First corner of the second half of Fulham. Left footed delivery. It's deep. Again, Sanchez was there to get on the end of it. 2 Fulham players queuing at the back post. Bassey and King were alive to it there. You kind of feel it's just a shootout now. It's just a mad shootout. It's not about defending this game. I don't think it has been right from the off. I said that in the first half. I think both teams just want to go all out attack every single second of the game. There's no thought about defending at the moment from either of these two teams. And I'm not complaining at any one bit, but madness. Love it though. Throw in down the right hand side here for Chelsea. Flick by João Pedro. Cleared away. Garcia. Taken in by Josh King, who rides a couple of challenges. Going for the long switch. Doesn't realise that Joel Hato was there to try and retrieve for Chelsea, of which he does. Colwell back to Sanchez. Sanchez launches forward. That's headed out by Castagna. Good defensive header there from the Fulham right back. I have to be honest though, I think both Fulham goals come from goalkeeping mistakes from Robert Sanchez. I think if they had a different goalkeeper, and that's easy to say, but I think if Chelsea had a different goalkeeper, this would be 3-0. I genuinely believe that. Throw in here on the left, taking far too long, and there's the first implementation of the new rule. 5 seconds to take a throw in, otherwise it goes the opposite way. That's exactly what's happened there. Chelsea took too long. Fulham got the throw in. Well implemented by the referee there, John Brooks. Garcia being held on to by Lacroix. It's going to be a free kick. Referee lets him get on with it here, Gonzalo Garcia. Fulham don't want to wait around. They've got the momentum of the game. Both defences look a little bit hapless at times. Even though Chelsea have had a back 3/back 5, they do look a little bit open. I think it's more down that left-hand side of their defence with Hato and Colwell. Looks a little bit weaker than the other side. I think that Chiampong, Gusto and Lacroix more on that other side have solidified it a lot stronger than the left side. That's where I think Fulham can find their joy, down that right flank. Nicely done by Oscar Bob on the turn. Here is King down the right hand side. Josh King cuts back onto his left, swings it across the ball there from Sander Berge. It's cleared away. Wolby will pick up on the halfway line. 60 gone, 30 to go here at Craven Cottage. Fulham 2, Chelsea 3. And this is the final game of the opening weekend of the new Premier League season. Robinson, first time looking for the run of Palacios. Cleaned away there by Achiampong, but Fulham will win the throw. Robinson will take this throw in. Short this time, back to Alex Iwobi. Squared across to Calvin Bassey. Down the right now. Bob fired into the central area, but he gives it away, and then it's given right back to him by Rodgers. Little 1-2. Here's Oscar Bob into the area. Bob trying to run through trouble. Couldn't squeeze through that space. Castagna picks it back up. Bassey swings it in deep. Too deep and too high for Anthony Robinson to get on the end of, but a thumbs up from the Fulham fullback. Charlie says, another good show, pal. I've thoroughly enjoyed this Premier League opening weekend. It's been a cracker. It has been, Charlie. Thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, it's been an incredible weekend so far. I mean, I was seeing my blushes with my team, that late goal yesterday evening away at Newcastle, but what an opening weekend we have had. Some absolute barnstorming games, some incredible results as well on top of it. Wonderful opening weekends. Great to be back. Here come Chelsea. Gusto square across the area. Hooked away by Cuenca. And Reece James will just retrieve it down for Chelsea and settle things once more. I don't think anything's been settled tonight. It's like both teams, the best metaphor I could give it. Hold on a second. There's a shot from Pedro. He's got that in his locker too, Joao Pedro. Not only the cute little finishes and the deft little ones in the box, but those long, slightly longer range ones. He can absolutely put his foot through it. He's got that in his locker, and that one just not on target. But the best metaphor I could come up with for this game is it's like two bottles of Coke. They've just been shook and shook and shook and shook before kickoff, and someone's just took the caps off at kickoff and let them explode. That's exactly what this game has been from both teams right from the first whistle. It has been chaotic, to say the very least. Palmer clips across. That one's straight into the hands of Byrne Leno. I wouldn't bet against Fulham getting another goal here, I have to be honest. And I also wouldn't bet against Chelsea getting 3 more goals, so you never know what way this game could go. What I'll be really disappointed with Chelsea is the fact that it is still a contest. How much space Fulham have been giving them, how much quality they have up front, how well they've played in attack, Chelsea. The fact they've still, this game is not out of sight, that the 3 points are not locked up for Chelsea, will be the biggest disappointment so far for Xabi Alonso. Lovely to win the ball back. A little too overzealous, says the referee, and Gonzalo Garcia vehemently disagrees. Feels that Joel Harto kind of got away with one there, and I would agree with him. Yeah, he did well against Josh King, but then he just gets a little bit too... He just got away with that one, Joel Harto. He was in trouble. Did well to win the free kick, but Fulham maybe a little hard done by there. I want to see... I completely forgot substitutions were a thing. I was enjoying the game. I've been engrossed. Chelsea going to make changes, as are Fulham, but we'll see the Chelsea ones first. We'll see Enzo Fernandez coming on. And trying to see who else is coming on there for Chelsea. They're making 2 subs. So Enzo Fernandez coming on for Romeo Lavia, central midfield. So Enzo Fernandez on for Romeo Lavia. Oh, Fulham certainly do not like Enzo Fernandez, those Fulham fans. And Jarell Harto's also making way, and we're going to see the introduction of Pep Cavaria. Or Chavaria, whatever you want to say, Cavaria. Double change for Chelsea. It looked like Shea Charles was getting himself ready for Fulham. £30 million summer signing from Southampton, Northern Irishman. Another debutant will be entering the fray very shortly. 25 on the clock. That's what's left of the 90. This game far from done and dusted yet. Lovely from Achiempong there. Good physicality against Palacios. Palmer in a tight gap, comes away with the ball as always. Achiempong fires across, 4 queuing up in there. And the flag was up anyway against Josh Achiempong. It's a free kick to Fulham. As now we are going to see Shea Charles. Are we going to see Shea Charles? We are. So we're going to see Shea Charles on, and he is going to replace Oscar Bob. So Bob off, Charles on. Real top quality player. Shay Charles, the midfielder, 22 years old from Northern Ireland. Came through the Man City setup, youth setup. And this is his full debut for Fulham. It's his first appearance, competitive or non-competitive. He was not involved for either of their recent club friendly games before the season started. This is his first minutes as a Fulham player. Rodgers finds the space here. Malo Gusto down the right. Gusto lifts it across. Brought down here by Chavaria. Bounces around. Anthony Robinson was able to clear as it dropped. And maybe a 1v1 here between Gonzalo Garcia and Maxence Lacroix, which Lacroix wins. And Chelsea will get the throw out of that one down the left-hand side. Here's Cole Palmer looking down the right. Has to go back to Achiampong. James. Enzo Fernandez. Getting a rousing boo from the crowd every time he gets onto the ball, Enzo Fernandez. Cole Palmer. Fernandez flicking it over the top, looking for the run of Achiampong. Gets to the byline. Goes down that one. Nice block in there by Cuenca. As Palacios drops a little deeper to help with the build-up. Nicely done. Finds Castagna. Little flick by Gonzalo Garcia, and Palacios could be away down the right here. Lacroix coming across. And Maxence Lacroix wins the free kick, although I think another one that Fulham can be a little hard done by. It's a little soft. Just goes over a little easily there, Maxence Lacroix, but a smart one to win the free kick. Palmer. Drag back. Wide to Achiampong, fed it in behind. Gusto latches onto it. Gusto wanted to go for a goal at the side netting. Tough angle to really take on a shot from that sort of distance from Malo Gusto, but decided to get, that he was going to be beneficial from it, but hit it wide. Header won by Achiampong. It seems like Chelsea have wrestled back a bit of control of this. Like they did after the first Fulham goal, they wrestled back control before half-time. And now after Fulham's latest goal, they seem to have wrestled back control again. Can they find another goal to further extend their lead? Colwell. Usually these are close battles, very close, tight affairs between these two, but not as high scoring as this. As I said, the first time in 21 years that there have been 5 goals in a derby between Fulham and Chelsea. 2005 on Boxing Day. The last time either team scored 4 in this fixture was at Craven Cottage in November 2004. Chelsea won 4-1 on that one. Frank Lampard, Ian Robin, Gallas, all on the score sheet that day. Papa Bouba Diop as well was on the score sheet for Fulham. That is still the most goals that have been scored in a Premier League game between Fulham and Chelsea this century. That one where Chelsea scored 4, only once as it happens. Palacios. Nicely worked. Right to the right-hand side. Shay Charles. Palacios back to Charles. Square to Berger. Now across to Iwobi. Iwobi down the left. Finds Robinson. Linking up well with Josh King.
Switch ball out to the left. Taken in well by Robinson. Working the angle to find Josh King, but played away again by WATCHALONG. Robinson. Oh, found a little seam there. Josh King onto his right foot. Almost finding the bottom left corner. That was beautiful again from Fulham. Lovely from Anthony Robinson. Found that inside diagonal. Found the seam in the Chelsea defence. Just that gap that emerged. And Josh King received it really well. Slid it onto his right foot. Gets past Lacroix. And then with that instep of his right foot, just tries to drag it back across towards that left-hand corner. And just wide it goes. But beautifully done. Really well worked. Nice attempt there from Fulham. As both sides going to make more changes. End of the night for Palacios and Sander Berge. They're going to be replaced by Rand Sessegnon and Kevin. So Palacios and Berge off, Sessegnon and Kevin on. For Fulham, Chelsea looked like they were making more changes there as well. They're trying to get things in order here at the moment, Chelsea. They're just trying to reorganise things at the moment. Header won by Robinson. Taken in here down the left. Kevin. That's the quality. Kevin couldn't squeeze through there. Well, blocked off by Josh Achiampong, sorry. Well, he came in last season, Kevin, of course. The Brazilian. From Shakhtar Donetsk. Big summer signing last season for over £30 million for Fulham. Kevin, 23-year-old. Wasn't able to really get off the mark in terms of goal scoring. Just one goal, one assist in the Premier League last season in 26 appearances. So really wasn't able to rack up the numbers. See how he fares tonight off the bench. And Rand Sessegnon has been in London for the vast majority of his career. Came through at the Fulham setup, youth setup, went to Spurs, of course, if you remember, for big money, and then rejoined Fulham a few years ago on a free deal. And back at the club now, third season back with the club. Kevin. Iwobi. Robinson. Oh, almost caught there. Iwobi gets it. He will launch it forward, looking for a runner. Finds Garcia. Took it under control. Kevin with a lovely little trick. And he tried to feed it in behind, but he finds a man on the ground that was meant to be the target. That's going to be a free kick to Fulham and a yellow card to Reece James, who is right up into the face of Josh King. It was the one he took down. Reece James gets himself a booking. And the Chelsea captain very unhappy with that whole situation. I don't know what he's trying to say. I mean, it's definitely a foul. He's just dragging Josh King back by his left shoulder. I mean, it's bizarre how Reece James is arguing his innocence there. It's clear as day that it was a foul. Pedro Neto is on. He's replaced Malo Gusto, so it looks like Chelsea, and they're going to use him as a wing back, or maybe go to a... I don't even want to guess. Let's just leave it up to the football to do the talking. Here's Castagna, feeds it across, Garcia couldn't get a shot off clean. Oh, nipping in there was Bassi, brought down. That's actually going to be a free kick the opposite way, and a yellow card for Calvin Bassi. Simulation. Let's have a look at this. I mean, what on earth is that from Calvin Bassi? That's the most obvious simulation I've ever seen. Two captains booked. Reece James for Chelsea. Now Calvin Bassi for Fulham. Both in the book. Cards have been flying out tonight. That's the fourth yellow card of the evening. 3 of those for Chelsea, though. Not often you see a centre-back booked for simulation, but there you have it. Usually an attacking player. Iwobi.
Bassey back to Cuenca here, all the way back to Bernd Leno. Shea Charles just helping out in the midfield there as Cuenca knocks long, looking for the run of Anthony Robinson. He's got him behind his man, looks to chip the goalkeeper and put it well wide. That was a wonderful chance. He got it on target. It was 3-3. He was onside, he timed it perfectly. He got the measure of his man to perfection in behind Achiampong. And the goalkeeper was in no man's land. I mean, it was a perfect storm there for Anthony Robinson to try and find the third. Gets the shot all wrong. Toe pokes it. Just needs to wrap his foot around that one and just lift it over the goalkeeper. He tries to round the goalkeeper, I think. Gets it all wrong. Lovely opportunity, though. They're very lucky there, Chelsea, that didn't find the net. Very easily could have. Still a lot of time left. 12 minutes plus additional. Another ball in behind. Achiampong heads this one away. Neto takes it down. Reece James. To Achiampong. Difficult spot here, but Achiampong clears it well. Cuenca wins the header. Really good tussle at the moment in this one. Bassey throwing himself at it. Wins it back. Finds Josh King. Space down the right. Sessegnon made the run. Here is Ryan Sessegnon. Back to Charles. Shea Charles. And we're back to Cuenca, but Fulham pushing up the field now. Wide to Anthony Robinson. Kevin. Iwobi. Charles. Come on, Fulham. Here's the chant from the home crowd. Knowing how close their side are to a leveller here. They've been pushing and probing for it. Coming so close on a few occasions. Kevin, little 1-2 with Anthony Robinson. That doesn't quite work out, and Chelsea clear it. Finding João Pedro. He does well to work it out wide to Pedro Neto. Inside to João Pedro. Now Cole Palmer takes it in stride. Oh, he looks not in a great way there, Cole Palmer. Maybe a bit of an issue. Ball into the box. João Pedro couldn't reach goal kick. Looks to be okay there, Cole Palmer. Smiled. Says he's got 2 more minutes in his legs. Clearly signalling to the bench that he can't carry on too much longer. And they'll try and figure this one out, Chelsea. Jamie Gittins, Estevao, 2 players they could probably bring on, and maybe even Danny Welbeck. We'll see. That's on the cards for Chelsea. Iwobi. Cuenca. Deep ball forward, that one. It's dangerous. Too much on it in the end. Castagna was in chase, but couldn't get anywhere near it. Looks like it is Estevao that's getting himself ready. Chelsea. I mean, Cole Palmer certainly was on his haunches there, so he does seem like his race is run. And I have to say, he's run a hell of a race. I have to say, it's been fantastic tonight. Undoubtedly player of the match, without a shadow of a doubt. No matter what the result, Cole Palmer is getting player of the match. No question in my mind. Anthony Robinson. Iwobi. To Calvin Bassey. Fulham on the push for the leveller. Here is Alex Iwobi. Down the left. Kevin. Linking up with Robinson. Little 1-2 with Kevin again. Palmer trying to keep a hold of him. Palmer goes down under the challenge of Kevin. Does well there, Cole Palmer. Free kick to Chelsea around the edge of their own box. Well, a reminder for you, Lask against Celtic tomorrow from the Champions League playoff round. That's tomorrow at 8 o'clock here in LFS. Celtic with a 3-goal aggregate lead heading into that one. Can they hold on to it? Or even better it, to see themselves in the Champions League phase. Fulham made that another change of their own. Rodrigo Muniz is on for Fulham, so that will be their final change of the game. We're also going to see Chelsea make a double change. Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer are both coming off. They're going to be replaced by Estevao and Giovanni Quenda. So Quenda and Estevao on, Palmer and Rogers off. For Chelsea. If anything is evident here tonight, I think one thing is evident. Chelsea will be entertaining to watch. There's no doubt about that this season. From this display alone, they will be amazing to watch right the way throughout the season. From what we've seen tonight. Fulham will be pretty enjoyable to watch too. Can they snatch a goal on a night where they've probably been out, just the quality of Chelsea just outdone them at times. A little less so in the second half. Look on the balance of it. Chelsea really haven't created much in the second half by that Cole Palmer shot goal. That was their only shot on target of the second half, Chelsea, so it's not like they've been continually creating hats and hats full of chances. That second goal, when it did come for Fulham, was so crucial. Just settling things down for them again, causing a little bit of chaos in the Chelsea backline. Here's a lovely ball in behind it. Sessegnon on the run, gets the better of his man, fired it across. Sanchez with the reactions there to carry it wide, but Sessegnon with an effort there. Lovely to flick it away from Caoimhan, get it onto his favourite left foot, and fired it right at Robert Sanchez, who parried it away. Dangerous from Sessegnon on this left-hand side all of a sudden. Corner here to be taken. Kevin delivers, not much quality on that one. Didn't beat the first man. Lovely from Sessegnon to work around it, but his ball wasn't the best towards the area. Bounces away as Quenda and Garcia get entangled. Referee waves away any sort of foul on Quenda. Fulham quickly get the game back underway. Time ticking away from Fulham here though. Iwobi made the run into midfield, but had too much work to do after that first touch. Battling though was Joao Pedro when he won the ball, and now he's going to send Quenda on a run, but that one's a little bit difficult to chase. Easily retrieved by Bern Leno. Fulham on the attack again. Dominated possession in the second half. Fulham 62% of the ball, similar to the first half where they had around 60% of the ball at half time. So a lot of the possession, but much more effective with it in this second half. They've played better. That killer of a third goal early in the second half though was really slightly upset things for Fulham. Had held on, got that second, levelled it. Very different game on our cards, but they're trying to push for a late equaliser to deny Chelsea an opening game victory for Xabi Alonso and his team. Nonetheless, though, it will be one of the most memorable opening weekend games. Estevao clipping forward, looking for the outside run here of Pedro Neto, who took a lovely touch at the touchline before arriving. Neto delivers deep, headed on by Joao Pedro, kind of took it off any of his teammates, and Fulham trying to scramble it away. Not getting very far as Chavaria there couldn't keep it in play. Throw in there to Fulham. Three and a half minutes to go. Fulham 2, Chelsea 3. Lots of football to bring you next weekend as well. A whole roster from Friday to Monday. next weekend here on Premier League Live. Palace against Man City starts us on Friday night. Throw in there for Fulham, deep in the Chelsea half. Pedro Neto couldn't keep the ball in play, so a throw into Fulham. Taken quickly. Garcia. Lovely footwork. Goes down, wanted a foul, not given. Kevin was brought down, but he worked back to his feet and then run into trouble. And Pedro Neto finds Esteval wide. Embarrassment of riches in attack, Chelsea, there's no doubt about it. Good interception there by Shea Charles. Little 1-2s. Charles down the line, couldn't get it to Sessegnon ahead of Achiampong. And look at the chase on from Charles there, crashing into Achiampong. Fulham forcing the issue here, trying their best to force the issue. Time is of the essence for the home side. On the turn there, Castagna turned into trouble though. Colwell was anticipating. But they can't make anything of it, but he will win the free kick there, Levi Colwell. And Timothy Castagna will receive a yellow card for his troubles. Yeah, a little late there on Colwell. It is a foul. Maybe a bit of fatigue setting in for quite a few of the players now. That's the joys of the first game of the season. Just getting right back up to the speed of things. Blistering opening game though. If this is to be the blueprint of how both of these two teams want to play this season. Oh, Sessegnon gives away the cheap corner, but under pressure there from Pedro Neto. If this is the blueprint for the way these two teams want to play this season, we're in for one hell of an entertaining show with these two, and Fulham and Chelsea in their matches. We'll watch Chelsea next weekend, next Sunday. They host Brighton Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock, followed by Man United Ipswich next Sunday afternoon, and then Monday night Aston Villa against Arsenal. Two teams who had very different results, quite the polar opposite results. Winning a clean sheet for Arsenal on Friday night, and a 4-0 defeat with 10 men for Aston Villa. Couldn't have been any better for Arsenal, and couldn't have been any worse for Aston Villa. We'll see them in action in a week's time, next Monday night on LFS. And then we'll update you further about Saturday's action. So we will, depending on the scheduling. Oh, lovely from Joao Pedro. Sets up his man. He will get another chance. He'll get another goal. But the flag's going to go up. The offside flag is up. That would have really put the icing on the cake for Chelsea. Into 4 added minutes. Let's see this again. There's no offside there. Is there an offside here? There is. Joao Pedro flicks it on and it bounces down for the man there. Not too sure who that is. It's actually Quenda. It is Giovanni Quenda. He's just offside, and it comes back to Joao Pedro, and he scores. Therefore it can't count because Quenda was offside. So it remains 3-2. That really would have been a sucker punch for Fulham right at the death. Less than 4 minutes now. If they can get through this, get the win, Chelsea, they'll be very pleased, knowing of really open defensively at times. Goalkeeper really had a poor night. Their attackers had a wonderful night, but that's probably the best of it for Chelsea, the attackers. And like what I see there, Cole Palmer getting player of the match, and no doubt about it, he deserves it. Absolute sensation tonight, Cole Palmer. Morgan Rogers has been fantastic on his Chelsea debut. Joao Pedro's done well as well, a goal and an assist for him, but Cole Palmer, right from the first whistle, run the show for Chelsea. Joao Pedro here on the right. And finding Esteval, he was covered over by Sessegnon, who clears. Bouncing ball, there's still time in this for Fulham, it will be. too much on that one. And that will be seen back towards Robert Sanchez, who leathers it up the field. Taken in though by Calvin Bassey. Two minutes of the 4 added to go. Another launch ball forward. Headed down. Gonzalo Garcia gets it on his right foot. Blocked to the edge of the box. Back to Iwobi it comes. Now Sessegnon, who will swing it in. Bounces around. There's calls of a penalty in there. That's waved away by the referee. Gonzalo Garcia felt that he was pulled down. Checked and cleared though by VAR pretty swiftly. Iwobi gets off balance, misplaces the ball, but Chelsea just trying to knock it away from any sort of danger. Fighting a bit of pressure here, Chelsea. A minute to go. They don't need to get a move on. Oh, that was a poor telegraph ball by Calvin Bassey. Picked up by Enzo Fernandez. Couldn't find João Pedro. Neither side want to keep it. Jay Charles directing a ball on the half turn. There was Sessegnon, but he couldn't keep possession. Now Estevao. Lovely ball by Enzo Fernandez. Finds Pedro Neto wide. Queuing up in the middle to find a finish. Neto reluctant to take the cross and decides to go to the corner flag instead. Sensible decision that. Battling and wrestling with Kevin and Sessegnon, but fends them both off and goes for goal here. Neto hits the side netting. One last chance for Fulham. Bernd Leno to launch it. Flicked on there by Muniz, but not much further on for Fulham as that's hooked up the field by Chelsea. Sessegnon with the header. Away by Reece James. Bouncing ball will be guided back to Leno. 4 minutes is up. This is it. Long launch by Leno. This has to fall right. It does fall right for Muniz. Muniz! Right at Robert Sanchez from range. That was surely the chance. And there it is. The final whistle goes. A winning start for Xabi Alonso as the Chelsea head coach. I'm sure he would have been biting his fingernails right the way throughout that final 25 minutes because Fulham gave them a real scare late on. But that attacking line, that trio of Chelsea that all got on the score sheet tonight. João Pedro within 30 seconds. Morgan Rogers on his debut. And Cole Palmer absolutely lighting up the field. All three on the score sheet. But Fulham, through two errors really from Chelsea defensively. Josh King having his shot from range. Almost led in by Robert Sanchez, who did very little to stop it. And then the second coming through Gonzalo Garcia, pouncing upon a loose parry again from Robert Sanchez. That made it a closer affair than probably it maybe should have been on the night. But Xabi Alonso's Chelsea get off to a winning start on the road in a London derby. No better way to start the campaign than a hard-fought victory on the road. For Fulham, promising signs, but very open defensively. Lots to work on for Alvaro Arbeloa. But as I said, if this is the blueprint of how they're going to play this season, they will certainly be very entertaining to watch. Final score on the final game of the opening weekend here in the Premier League. It's finished Fulham 2, Chelsea 3. And there it is, match day 1 in the books, signed, sealed and delivered. So all started on Friday night as Arsenal put 3 past newly promoted Coventry without reply. So a great start to the season for the defending champions at the Emirates. It was a welcome return for Hull as they thrashed Man United by 2-0 at the MKM on Saturday lunchtime. It was a 2-0 win for Everton, ending that 4-game streak at the start of campaigns of losing, and Pierre Saz, the new Crystal Palace head coach, falling to defeat without a goal in his first game in charge. But it was a winning start for Gary O'Neill at Ipswich, 2-1 win over Sunderland there in that one at Portman Road. It was a 1-0 win for Leeds on the road, one of only 2 teams to win away from home this weekend. and the only team to keep a clean sheet on the road this weekend against Nottingham Forest. Brentford 3-0 thumping of Tottenham Hotspur. Real sobering game for Spurs after their flashing the cash this summer with the big money. But Brentford, well hard fought win. A 4-0 victory for Brighton against 10 and Aston Villa, but all 4 of their goals came before Aston Villa went down to 10, so make sense. 4-0 to Brighton. City came from behind to beat Bournemouth by 2-1 at the Etihad in Enzo Maresca's first game in charge, and after what was a promising display for Marco Rosa's Bournemouth for 75 minutes, it was a disappointing ending. And it was, as always, dramatic to the very death between Newcastle and Liverpool. Liverpool again leaving it late to come up with the goods. A 2-2 draw there. Dominic Szoboszlai's late penalty rescuing a point for Andoni Iraola's Reds. And tonight, Fulham 2, Chelsea 3. A 5-goal thriller in this South West London derby between Fulham and Chelsea. Chelsea scraping it in the end, but the balance of things probably said they should have won comfortably on the night, but it's never comfortable in the Premier League, is it? So that is 10 in the books and 370 to go of this season, and we can, for the very first time this season, show you what way the table looks at the end of match day 1. Here's the top half. Brighton top of the table after one game with their 4-0 win over Villa, has them top of the tree. Arsenal following suit, wins for Brentford and Everton and Hull, all with clean sheets. Ipswich and Man City scraping 2-1 victories, and a win for Leeds on the road as well. Then making up the top 10, Liverpool and Newcastle, the only 2 teams to draw on the opening weekends. Into the bottom half come Chelsea, who should be further above there. That's an incorrect call. Chelsea and Fulham should be in and around similar positions, but not in those correct order. Bournemouth, then comes Sunderland, Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, Man United, Coventry, Spurs and Villa, all losing in the opening game of this season. Villa, bottom of the table, 4 goals conceded, none scored. That's 6 teams who failed to score in the opening weekends of the season. Reminder for you, here's what's to come. The Champions League playoff round, second leg between Lask and Celtic tomorrow at 8 o'clock. 3-0 victors were Celtic at Celtic Park last week. Can Martin O'Neill's team get the job done and get into the league phase of this Champions League? All they need to do is avoid a 4-0 defeat or a 4-goal defeat on the night to do that. And then we're back with more Premier League football to start match day 2 in 4 days' time on Friday night from South London as Crystal Palace, Pierre Sage's Crystal Palace, take on Enzo Maresca's Manchester City. Friday, 8 o'clock. But the Blues on the road in a tough trip to Craven Cottage get off to a winning start under Xabi Alonso. For Arbeloa, well, it is not looking good for them. Defensively frail, but you have to say it was 3 at the top end of the pitch that shone the brightest for Chelsea. Good night.